Hello, my dear friend. We live in such a fake world that sincerity and pretending to care are now some of the most common manipulation tactics. Many people walk around wearing a mask as if they love you, as if they value you greatly. But when we fall for these masks, we often end up deeply disappointed. In this video, I want to talk to you about how you can tell if someone truly loves you, what the signs are, and how to recognize them. When you're going through a serious problem, the way the other person reacts can give us clues about their feelings towards you. Let's say you're facing a major issue, and the other person has two options. One is to say, "Yeah, you can do this. You can try that," as if they're giving you advice from a distance. In such situations, you won't feel the emotional support from the other side. On the other hand, the other option is that the person makes you feel like they are with you. They might say, "We'll solve it together, we'll handle it, we'll get through this together." And here's something to keep in mind. They may not even be able to offer significant help in solving the problem at that moment, but you still feel their presence and support. In a relationship, we can sometimes struggle to understand the other person's actions, and things might seem unclear. For example, why did they act that way? Why were they late? Why didn't they do that? In such uncertain situations, if the other person tends to think positively at first, like, "They must have a good reason," and gives the benefit of the doubt, we can take that as a sign of love. But if they constantly assume the worst and interpret everything negatively from the start, then we might need to be a bit suspicious. One of the most valuable parts of our lives, our families, can sometimes become a source of trouble in relationships. When people get married, they're not just marrying each other, they're also marrying each other's families. If the families are good, there's no problem, but some families can seriously harm relationships. In such cases, the way the other person approaches your family can give us insight into the relationship. For example, they might not like my parents, and that's okay. They don't have to love them. It would be nice if they did, but it's not required. However, if they show respect and make an effort because they love you and care about you, we can consider that a significant sacrifice. And that is truly, truly valuable. However, if the other person constantly judges you for your family's behavior, even when it's not your fault, or keeps criticizing you because of your family, then you need to stop and think. At the beginning of a relationship, it's natural for people to try to impress the other by showing their best side or acting differently. But if this continues as the relationship progresses and they keep trying to manipulate you, like when things are going great, you show some affection, and suddenly they punish you by pulling away and confusing you. Then we need to raise a red flag. In a mature relationship, there's no need for games. What you see is what you get. You should be able to see the other person clearly, but if you can't understand what they're thinking, don't know their intentions, and their behavior is inconsistent, it's worth questioning. Arguments in relationships are inevitable, but during arguments, how we feel can tell us a lot about the relationship. Let's say I'm having a disagreement with my partner, and there's something I don't like. I need to express it to the other person, but I'm anxious. What if they leave me? What if they stop loving me? What if they reject me? If these kinds of thoughts dominate your mind, it's possible that the other person has been using triggering words or actions. If they frequently say things like, "I'm going to leave," "I'm going to break up," even during small arguments, and they've been doing this for a long time, that's another red flag. Here's something important to keep in mind. Over time, people become more comfortable in relationships. At some point, they start to think, even if we argue or go through cold periods, this relationship is solid. This sense of security develops. But if I'm constantly anxious, always worried that the other person will leave me, then something is wrong. If the person truly loves you, it feels like you're a team. Sometimes you pass the ball, sometimes they do. And life becomes easier than when you're on your own. Yes, relationships have their tough moments, but what has sustained relationships throughout human history isn't sex. I believe it's this sense of being a team and supporting each other through life. That's what makes us feel good. Having someone who truly understands and values you by your side. So someone who really loves you makes your life easier. They make sacrifices for you, and sometimes you do the same for them. That's why this is something to pay attention to. A person who truly loves you won't compete with you. I'm excluding lighthearted competition here, but they won't be in a constant rivalry with you. In some relationships, I've noticed that people are constantly trying to one-up each other, like it's my way or the highway. The point isn't about having the final say, but about feeling valued and in control. What happens here? It turns into an ego contest. Couples who truly love each other complement each other, they don't compete. If there's an ego battle, I would question that. Let's say you've been with someone for 6 months to a year, and one day you're having coffee together. The other person starts talking about their dreams. I'm going to do this, go there, set up a home here. I imagine this kind of life. And you're not part of any of those dreams. That's a red flag. Why? It's been 6 months, a year, and if they haven't included you in their dreams and only remember you when you bring it up, it's worth questioning. Someone who truly loves you includes you in their dreams. They plan with you, considering what you like and want, saying things like, let's do this, let's go here, let's explore these places, let's live here. I think this is one of the characteristics of people who really love you. If the person you're with immediately tells you when something important happens in their life, whether it's good or bad, they probably consider you one of the most important people in their life. People lean on their parents for support up to a certain point. Of course, parents have a special place, but outside of that, if the person you're with places you at the center of their life and says, when something good happens, I'll share my joy with them. When something bad happens, I'll share my worries with them. They see you as their partner and center of their life. If this is the case, it's something to pay attention to. Someone who truly loves you will be themselves around you. They'll share their thoughts and won't hide things. You'll be able to see them clearly, whether they're angry or happy. But if someone is anxious around you, it might mean they have doubts or are holding back. If they're always keeping things to themselves or have another agenda in the back of their mind, that's something to question as well. Now, the things I'm talking about here are not definitive. I'm just sharing examples from cases I've encountered. When assessing whether someone truly loves you, these are criteria you can pay attention to. At the same time, you can evaluate yourself. Often when discussing these topics, we think the other person must be the issue when something negative comes up. But maybe it's us. Maybe we're the ones manipulating or distracting the other person. I recommend paying attention to that too. So based on your past relationship experiences or observations, what are the traits and behaviors of a person who truly loves? You can share them in the comments section. Thank you for listening, beautiful soul. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Take care of yourself. See you next time.